This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, now we're going to have some fun with liverworts. And liverworts are really cute and really fun to look at. So we're going to have a big time here looking at a liverwort. Just to review very briefly, I'm sure you all know all of this, but there's three kinds of liverworts. There's complex thallus liverworts like Marcantia. There's simple thallus liverworts like Metzgeria, which are in our area very uncommon. And then there's leafy liverworts like Porella and Scapania and Radula. And so tonight we're going to talk about a leafy liverwort, Radula complanata. Now there's two species of Radula in New Mexico, and the other species is Radula bolanderi, which has been reported from a single collection. So we're not going to actually talk about that at all. We're going to talk about Radula complanata, which is extremely common, and so something that you can expect to see in your liverwort collecting activities. So there's, again, in leafy liverworts, there's two kinds. There's the simple kind, and then there's the complicate bilobed. And I'm going to show you some examples of that so we're all on the same page. So the simple liverworts, this is the bottom of it. I've been taught that it's easiest to look at liverworts from the bottom up, and so you put the bottom side up on your slide when you put it under the microscope. And so here's the stem, and the leaves are just coming off on the stem, and there's just one leaf at a time. And so this is a simple arrangement. We'll look at complicate bilobed. Actually, we'll look at that next. Again, here's the bottom of the stem. Here's the stem, and here's the leaf. And the leaf is actually made up of two lobes. This is the lobe, which is the big part of the leaf, and this is the lobule, which is the small part of the leaf. Sometimes, and neither one of these examples has it, there's also what's called an underleaf, which is stuck on the stem right here. And so it's important to note whether those are present and what they look like. But we don't have those in this particular presentation, in these particular species. Now, Radula complanata is a complanate bilobed liverwort, and this is what it looks like dry in the field from the top. And this is the lobe here. These are all lobes, and the lobules are hidden underneath the lobes, so you can't really see those. But this is what the top of it looks like when it's rather dry. And then if you wet it, like, it rains, which it hasn't done in New Mexico in a very long time, but if it should rain, then the leaves soak up the moisture, and they look actually quite different. And I think that this is a little bit more moist than strictly optimal. But again, you can see just the lobes along the stem. Now, if you pull a single stem off and look at it under a dissecting scope, this is what it looks like. So this is the top of the stem, and the stem is down here, and these are the lobes here. And they're nice and green, nice and round. And if you look closely, you can see here comes the little lobule right here. On the other side. But yeah, it's underneath. It's underneath this lobe, and so it's underneath that stem. And here's again another. This is the same picture, and this is the bottom of the leaf, and here's the lobe, and here's the lobule, and again, no underleaves. Now this indeed is Radula complanata, and so what the things that distinguish it are that the lobule is less than half the size of the lobe, and the lobule is kind of square, and the edge of the lobule kind of sticks out over the stem here and here, and that's important to distinguish it from bolanderi, where that doesn't happen. And then you see all these little black dots in the cytoplasm of of the cells. And if you look at oops, we'll look at that closer in just a minute. Here's a single leaf, and here's the lobe, nice and round, and here's the lobule, again, kind of square. And this right here is where the leaf attaches to the stem. And now you can see those little black dots even better. So when you look closer at those little black dots, lo and behold, they're oil bodies. And this is an important distinction in Radula, because the oil body takes up half or more of the area of the cytoplasm. So there's a single great big huge oil body taking up more than half of the cytoplasm. And in Belanderi, which I don't have pictures of right here, the oil body is even bigger and almost fills the cytoplasm completely. But in complanata, the oil body takes up half of the about half of the cytoplasm. Now we'll talk about liverwort sex.
This is asex.
Well, sort of reproduction. Reproduction can be either sexual or asexual, and we'll talk about asexual reproduction first. Again, here's the lobe, here's the lobule, and hey, as Mo talked about, here's gemmy on the outer surface of the leaf, and so they're just little round propagules that hang off the edge of the leaf. And if you look at the leaf up closer, you can see that these are just little balls of cells. And so if these little balls of cells get loose and become dispersed like this, they can float around in the air. And if they land in a suitable habitat, then they can build a whole new plant just from this little glob of Radula cells. Again, you can see the single large oil body, and the gemmy are different sizes, but under the right conditions, each of these guys could grow a whole new plant.
That's not a single large oil body.
Huh?
That's like 6.
Well, some of them are kind of clumpy.
That doesn't look like Radula.
You said it was. It's in your pictures. Radula also can undergo sexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction tends to take place in a more arid environment, and sexual reproduction takes place in a more wet environment, because the sperm have to have, or the male gametophytes have to have water to swim up to meet up with the female parts and make an embryo. So after the male parts and the female parts get together, they form these reproductive structures, which are called carpocephala. And this is a large carpocephalum, and it's attached to the remainder of the plant. There's parachaetial leaves around it. And if you look at this up a little closer, you can see it's sort of flask shaped. And so this is a carpocephalum that has been removed from the rest of the plant. And if you look at that even closer, you can see that there are little spores, which are the little guys that are going to go out and make a whole new plant. And you can see that there are eliders. Now, these eliders are kind of coiled, and what they do is they spring the spores out and throw them out into the wind so that they can be dispersed and form a new plant. So that's what I have to say about Radula. And I know that you'll be keeping your eagle eyes or your osprey eyes, depending on what bird you want to be, out, and you'll be able to see this when you're going out mossing and collecting mosses as you hunt for bryophytes, or liverworts as you hunt for bryophytes. And that's my presentation.
That's great, Karen. Excellent. Thank you.